Good evening, welcome again to Wheels. Tonight, absolutely no hanging around whatsoever. In our last series, the biggest reaction we had to any programme was for our first visit to Santapod. Well, we're back again on the starting line in Bedfordshire for drag racing.
Okay, everybody, lie down on the floor and keep calm.
This is what KLF is about. Also known as the justified entrance of Moo, furthermore known as the jam. Celebrating its 25th anniversary, and the sport of drag racing is celebrating something of a revival in this country. We'll be featuring a wide variety of classes here, projectiles laughingly known as cars and indeed bikes. Top of the bill, the Clash of the Titans, the Top Fuelers, the Formula One of drag racing. It's a class dominated in Europe by the Scandinavians and particularly by women drivers. They include Liv Burstad of Norway, the European record holder, a financial director of a clothing company back home. She's faster than most men in the business and rapidly becoming a headline catcher throughout the world. Monica Oberg, the Swedish nurse who cares for Alzheimer's disease patients in the week. Her attention at the weekend, though, switches to speed. And a newcomer to the sport from Norway, 26-year-old Oive Jakobsen. She works in the police department at home. She used to race motorbikes. Now she's on four wheels, though. She's another one chasing the status and achievements of Liv Burstad.
Has life changed for you recently?
Yes, at home it's changed a little bit. It's a lot of people who know who you are, but I like to talk to people, so it's no problem.
Liv is away, hard and straight, right the way through the quarter mile, absolutely superb. 5.39, 260 miles per hour.
When I'm home in Sweden during the winter, I'm just working with my steady job, and in the summertime I do this, and when I go back home I have to work.
But do you find it satisfactory or do you find it too hectic?
Sometimes it's hectic, but I like it.
And that looks a lot better. Monica Oberg still loading those tires up a little bit, but really going for it at the top end. Oh yes! 5.35, 270 miles per hour.
So Santapod is your debut in Top Fuel racing.
Yeah.
How have you done so far?
I had one run yesterday and I went up in smoke, so not very good yet.
And there's a nice practice launch for her. That looks quite good. Something to build on as she goes through the quarter mile. 8.87, she qualifies.
A field dominated by Scandinavians with one notable exception. John Lovett from Redcar in Yorkshire in the Valence Lovett Top Fuel Dragster, with Chris McGee, a crew chief from American Drag Racing, running the team. He's an Australian, in fact, designer and builder of the only quad cam engine in drag racing, backing John Lovett with a lot of expertise and power.
The problem is, very new into it at the minute. I've only driven the car twice and most of the people here are extremely experienced. So I would say we've got a few odds against us this weekend. We'll do our best. We've got an awful lot of stiff competition in the championship series, and we just hope we can keep the British flag flying.
Really run as straight as a die. That looks a good run from Jonathan Lovett all the way through, and the Englishman runs 5.43, 256 miles per hour.
It's not only the women drivers who catch the eye here. Kim LaHaye is the guest crew chief of the Finnish driver Risto Putiainen. Kim, the daughter of one of the big names in American drag racing, Dick LaHaye, the 1987 Top Fuel champion. Kim is in fact her father's crew chief on her first visit to Europe.
Tell me what your hopes as a crew chief here are in Santapod this weekend.
Well, I'd sure like to win the race for these guys. Good bunch of guys. It's their first time out with a nitro car, and it's my dad's old car, the '89 car, and just like to try to win the race for him.
And now Risto Putiainen comes out into the other lane, but something has let go. If we look behind Risto's car, we can see a whole trail of fluid right the way down that right-hand lane.
It looks pretty serious. What do you think the problem is?
Well, I think I was pulling too hard in burnout, so we lost a piston or two, I think. We'll find out pretty soon what happened.
Kim, what's the verdict on the patient?
It did hurt the crankshaft and hurt some other parts in it that we don't have spares on. And so unfortunately we're not going to be able to race anymore this weekend. These cars are real hard to drive, especially when you're first learning. And it's easy to over rev the engine. It's a hard thing to do the burnouts in these things.
Well, just a quick reminder of the grammar of drag racing, the sport which has developed from racing down the high street drag in the United States. At the top of the range, the car's fueled by nitromethane, basically an explosive. It costs around £40 a gallon. They use up to 15 gallons each time they're out there. Then there are methanol or alcohol-powered cars all the way down the scale to mixed fuels and, of course, the ordinary garage 4-star. It's a sport with a language of its own. ETs, RTs, Christmas trees, breakouts, blowouts, cutouts, sandbagging. A sport where the start is crucial. ET, the elapsed time. The time it takes to get from the start line to the finish a quarter of a mile away. That's what shows on the board, along with the terminal speed as you cross the finishing line. So it's all about quick reactions, massive speed, keeping these monsters in a straight line, and of course beating your opponent past the finish line.
Our first pair in this clash of titans here on the bank holiday Monday complete their first burnouts there. On the right hand side of our picture, the man that the whole crowd here at Santapod is behind, the 29-year-old from Redcar, Jonathan Lovett, his first season as a Top Fuel drag racer. He came out yesterday and qualified in the number 4 spot with an unheard of time for a British driver of 5:43. His opponent from Sweden, this beautifully prepared car, an ex-Peter Lantz car, a Peter Lantz paint scheme, Connie Anderson. Connie Anderson, the number 5 qualifier with a run of 5:86. They're coming up to the start line. The tension here, you can feel it. Cut it with a knife. Jonathan Lovett in the left-hand lane. Connie Anderson from Sweden in the right-hand lane. They're moving slowly forward into the light beams which control the start. Connie Anderson's the last one to go in. And a big plume of smoke there from Jonathan Lovett, and Connie Anderson gets to the top end first, and smoke coming from the right-hand side of his engine. In slow motion replay, let's see what happened as they leave the start line. Certainly Connie Anderson was slightly away in front of Jonathan Lovett. His reaction time was a lot better. And suddenly up in smoke goes Jonathan Lovett's car. Well, it could just be lighting up the tyres. There's no other flames or anything like that from the car. So it could well be that he overpowered the track. So Jonathan Lovett loses traction completely. And then let's watch Connie Anderson to see exactly what happens there. Smoke, flame, Conrod out through the bottom. That's the end of that engine.
A driver can only do or work with the equipment he's got. The equipment was set up absolutely perfectly yesterday. Stuart, the crew, Chris McGee, absolutely brilliant. Today, we're just a very small amount out on the clutch. The car left nice, it got further out into the track and started to smoke the tyres. I felt that it wasn't right and come off the throttle.
In the next quarter-final, a solo pass for Tony Bryntesen. Because of the problems of Risto Poitiainen, Bryntesen eased through to the last four and was emerging as one of the favourites.
It's the duel of the ladies, Sweden against Norway. Monica Öberg in the left-hand lane as we look at the screen now. Monica from Sweden. From Norway in the other lane, that's this newcomer to Top Fuel drag racing, Eva Jakobsen. Both drivers bringing the cars back behind the start line, and still there's a wee bit of a problem for Monica Öberg. She's still not really putting down a good burnout with the car. Spoke to her earlier on. She seems to think everything is in order. Well, she's trying a little bit harder that time and certainly smoking the tyres there, and a nice couple of rubber strips going across that start line in the right-hand lane. Monica ended up down the bottom of the 5-second bracket, 5:35. She was the number 3 qualifier. The number 6 qualifier, the novice driver in the other lane, Eva Jakobsen, she qualified number 6 with an 8:87. It should go Monica's way, but this is drag racing. We move into stage. Both drivers sitting in pre-stage. Who's going to move into stage? They're going. And Monica away very, very well indeed. That's going to be another great run for her in the right-hand lane. It is 5:47, 257 miles per hour, but a lose-out time for Eva of 6:12, 234. That is the quickest that lady has ever been. So here's the start line. Monica Öberg in the left-hand lane hooks up those front wheels. Eva just a little bit behind her there, but Monica storms away there. That is a beauty of a run. That last burnout must really be telling. You can see those back wheels growing tall, and she takes the win.
What about the burnout? How important was it to get that right?
Yeah, the track wasn't good enough, so it was important that the tires were really hard.
Is the track still giving you a few problems?
Yeah, it is.
Explain that to us. Why is that?
Oh, it ain't that sticky that it should be.
Eva, you didn't win, but you don't seem too unhappy.
No, I'm happy. 6:12, that's almost the 5, and this is my first race. I'm happy.
Is it better than you expected?
Yes, it is.